The University of Detroit Mercy presents another brand new episode of Ask the Professor. Today's program was recorded using Zoom video conferencing technology.
The University Tower chimes, ringing another session of Ask the Professor, the show on which you match wits with University of Detroit Mercy professors in an unrehearsed session of questions and answers. I'm your host, Matt Mayo, and let me introduce to you our panel for today. To the bottom of my square, it's Professor Stephen Manning, my brother in beardedness.
Afternoon, Matt.
Good afternoon. So you're being bothered by people who need answers to tough questions, huh?
A little bit, yes.
It's nice to be needed, Stephen.
It is. I relish being needed. Very important these days.
Like Al Capone.
I think it's a little bit different than Al Capone. I'm going to continue around our cycle of squares here. Professor Heather Hill is with us today.
Hello.
Thanks for coming, Heather. And how are you?
My pleasure. I'm good. I'm good. You know, the weather's been kind of up and down and backwards and forwards, but good. Well,
I can handle a little bit less humidity and a lot of sun. I think this weekend might be nice.
yeah, I think we're in for a good stretch of weather.
That would be nice.
Yes.
Professor Kendra Evans is here with us today.
Hello.
So are your daughters, they're actually done with school for today?
They're done with school for today.
It
And,
usually stinks up to 3 o'clock.
Well, no, we normally have to do it until it's done, right? So, and so if we have a bunch of meetings, then they might not even be getting started till the afternoon. So it sort of just depends. But Autumn finished early this week. I think she might have had like slightly less instruction because it was 4 days. So she finished really in 3 days. But Juliana, third grade is really rigorous.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Can't beat that.
But it is your children's last day.
Today is my kid's last day, and I am not exaggerating. They were doing real work, like even at 2:45.
I totally believe it. You know, normally in a real school year, the last 4 weeks is like party, field trip, field day, party, field trip. I don't know what, it seemed like nothing happens the last 4 weeks, but this year there's real instruction to the very last minute.
Oh, yes, very much. Jim Tubbs is here with us today from Religious Studies. Hey, Jim.
Hello. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. It's I've basically been frozen in the Mayo family basement because this whole thing started with winter and it was cold, and then it got really hot this week. So we turned the air on, and now it's really cold down here again. So.
Well, I live in a single-story house with no basement, so I'm stuck in the living room.
That's nice. I bet you turned the air on this week, though.
I had it on until today. In fact, the last 2 days I've had it on.
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't know whether that was
the air out. It was very muggy.
Exactly.
Very muggy.
When I saw how the weekend was going to go, the first thing that jumped into my mind was let's open up the windows and let the house breathe.
Diane told me yesterday or the day before that it was 106 degrees in Mesa, but it was 9% humidity.
So everything was just spontaneously combusting.
Nobody's going to sweat a lot there.
Wow.
A dehydrator.
Yep.
We will have a visit from previous panelist, Professor Diane Manica, again sometime later this summer. We should have her back sometime soon. It'll be tons of fun. Speaking of tons of fun, Dave Chow is here with us today.
Pleasure to be here, as always.
And what was that thing that you flashed up a few minutes ago? Is some sort of a rat with very, very big teeth? Is that what it was?
That thing?
Oh, the 5-inch teeth. Yikes.
Yes. To questions earlier, that's also.
I can tell that the rat is from Berkeley, Michigan. I really can.
Well, right about now, we got gardens going right about now. So I'm like, okay, what do we do? Do I build a moat or electrify the yard or something? I don't know yet. So
Yeah, they're coming out, man. They are
Food
coming
is
out.
abundant right about now, so we'll see what happens.
Yep. Hey, Dan Maggio is here with us today too.
Hey, Matt.
What's shaking?
Not much. And ending a busy week. Looking forward to the weekend.
Yeah. So what's on tap for the weekend?
The same for the last 10 weekends. Figure out what
Early.
new restaurant to get carry out from, and then spending 5 hours figuring out what movie we should watch. So actually, I think we're gonna watch. What's the one with George Clooney and Anne Hathaway? Gravity.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's Sandra Bullock, isn't it?
Sandra Bullock.
Mhm.
Close enough. And then the other one was Interstellar. Is that right? Yeah. So they're on my. So I know we're in this kind of space theme. So
Nothing
kind
wrong.
of we've binge watched everything we want to watch on Netflix. I think so.
Reaching the end of the list.
That's the plan.
Something on Netflix the other night that turned out to be very good. It's been up there for a long time, but The English Game. It's about the roots of soccer. I mean, how it started in Great Britain in the 1870s. But it's written by Julian Fellows, the guy that did Downton Abbey. So it's all about the class struggle when the game became played not just by Etonians but by mill workers and so forth. Very interesting.
I wonder if that will be coming to a PBS station near you.
I wonder.
TV version.
It says season 1. It's only 6 episodes, but it's really very well done.
I'll check it out.
Cool. And we also have Professor Mara Livezey with us today.
Hello.
Hello. When you left the panel during our off break, your cat was perfectly melded with the black and white blanket behind you. It was just sort of flowed together. There you go.
I heard Dan call her a dust bunny. Oh, that was Dave?
Oh,
That was Dave. I can't take credit for that. I love
That
cats.
seems more likely.
Well, we're also not going to tell you that your cat also ordered about $400 worth of stuff on Chewy.com too. So when you were gone, so
As long as she pays, I don't mind.
yeah, as long as it's the cat's credit card. Oh my gosh. So funny. You know, we're being favored again today on the panel by our friend Richard Wagoner. We're very happy to have you, back, Richard. We hope that you have some fun being a part of the panel, and we can't thank you enough, for writing about us about a year ago.
Oh, this is really fun. I would like to point out that while I'm not officially a professor, I do have a PhD. Graduating from San Pedro High School, it's a Pedro High diploma.
oh,
Very nice.
Oh.
Excellent.
Oh, that's awesome. Perfect.
oh, we have graduates here.
Well, folks, this is a program. You can send us questions regarding anything. If you stump our awesome panel, you win a prize. And if you stump our not so awesome panel, you also win a prize. You can send the questions to us in a number of ways. You can email us at atp@udmercy.edu. You can reach us on the web at udmercy.edu/atp. You can find us on Facebook or listen or ask your favorite smart speaker by asking it to play Ask the Professor at University of Detroit Mercy. Here are some questions pertaining to weird stuff that can be found in the 2020 Farmer's Almanac.
Uh-oh.
You may determine your own grading scale. So I usually look in Dan's direction or something like that. It looks like we have about 8 questions here, Dan, so help me out.
So 75% will answer 6 of them correctly.
Let's see what happens.
Which I'm sure you will help make sure that happens. So
the word distaff, 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 can mean of or concerning women. What does this definition have to do with Distaff Day being the 7th of January annually?
Is that when women got suffrage or something?
You know, it's not celebrating anything necessarily historical.
Oh.
Could you? I am so sorry. I
Yeah,
just
can-
lost. I just went my computer. What was all of that about? The distaff?
So the word distaff can mean of or concerning women. What does this definition have to do with Distaff Day, 7th of January, celebrated 7th of January annually?
Oh, okay. Do tell.
Let's see if we can get a good solid guess in here.
Oh, I'm sorry. People have not responded yet. I'm telling you, my internet connection is really wacky.
That's all right.
Blame it on
Mara
the
had a
diesel
good
pig.
guess about it commemorating suffrage, but it does not have to do with suffrage.
Is it farm related?
Ish.
Ish.
Is it about Mother Nature?
It sort of is.
Does it have to necessarily deal with human females? Could it be an animal female?
Definitely. This is about as far as I'll go with hints here. It has to do, in particular, with Christian females. Look at the date.
1/7.
This is the close to the Epiphany.
Yeah.
That's right. It's the day after the Epiphany. What do you think that refers to?
Mary cleaning up with all the guests and gifts.
It's pretty close, Jim. Distaff Day refers to the day that you would return to work for women's work. Distaff is also the name of the spindle that works on a spinning wheel. And so that was the day like, okay, you're done partying, get back to work.
Oh.
It's the opposite of dance staff.
So it's not a holiday.
Definitely not a holiday.
The
Not
non-holiday.
federal, at least.
It's the
At
end
least-
of the holiday.
Remember, these are from the 2020 Farmer's Almanac. The mirror image of this day was for men would have been what was called Plow Day, because that was the day you had to get back to tilling the earth.
Huh.
What do the three chilly saints of Mamertus, Pancras, and Gervas, being celebrated on the 11th, 12th, and 13th of May, refer to?
Three Stooges week?
I figured something like that was going to be uttered. We actually had it. There's another cat in Mara's frame. We had it really hardcore this year. If you could think back to what the weather was
Frost?
like, 11th, 12th, and
Is it
13th,
snow or frost?
it's sort of referred to as a spring slide back to cooler weather after you have your first warm up. And they basically back in the day would blame the saints for bringing that weather on those days. So the truth is that around that time we're always having a little bit of a chill, and they blamed it on these very interestingly named saints.
We did
Saint
have
Gervas.
that.
We did.
So this one is one that is of personal interest to me because I could never figure it out after reading Shakespeare. So maybe I'm looking a little bit in Heather's direction here. What specific date is Midsummer?
Ooh.
So,
May. Is it in May?
like,
It's in June is what it says.
so midsummer would be more like beginning of August.
21st.
June. Yeah.
The beginning of summer, right? June 21st. That's the
That's
beginning.
Correct.
Well, midsummer,
Midsummer would be
like August 10th.
100.
So the reason this is of personal interest to me is I remember reading A Midsummer Night's Dream and having them refer to this date, which is in late June, but not June 21st, and going, I don't understand why Midsummer wouldn't be the way that Dan is interpreting it. It's
June
June
30th?
24th,
Oh,
24th.
not because it's halfway through the season, because it's halfway through the growing season in the
Oh.
temperate climate.
Okay.
Ah.
That's right, because it's the Farmer's Almanac.
Yes.
There you go.
what's the date again, Matt?
June 24th
June
is
24th.
Midsummer. And by that, of course, I do not mean a very successful Swedish horror film from last summer, although that had to do with Midsummer. This one is a pretty interesting one, too. I got to be very careful the way I present or pronounce this word. What does cornsaceous air in July referred to? Cornsaceous air.
Are you spelling air AIR?
AIR.
Could you use it as a sentence?
I think you just did.
Question is about cornsaceous air.
So would it be weather that's favorable to growing corn?
That is exactly what it refers to. Yes, the hot, humid weather that corn goes best in. And there is an ongoing challenge from the Farmer's Almanac, which I think is kind of fascinating, considering I was at my dad's property in Port Huron over the weekend, and across the street is a gigantic cornfield. Because the outer film of corn leaves and stalks is covered with sort of a waxy substance, there are people who swear that you can hear the corn squeaking as it grows. And Farmer's Almanac has had this multi-hundred-year, essentially, like, if you can ever actually hear that and like record it, send it to us and we'll publish it. But no one's really been able to hear the corn grow, even though some people swear by it.
Wait a minute.
Well, they
is
don't
this
like to
a-
speak when they're being recorded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, is it like a Sasquatch sighting kind of thing?
It's sort of like that. One thing is for sure, in our part of the Midwest, Richard, and watch me demonstrate, everybody, at least from Michigan, knows that corn has a very specific height by the 4th of July.
Really?
Knee high.
Knee high,
Hi.
4th
Oh.
of July. Mhm. So cornstaceous air would be, I'll tell you right now, Farmer's Almanac calls for a pretty sticky July, so it's going to be good to grow. Okay, how about the dog days of summer, loosely interpreted as 3 of July through 11 of August? What are they referred to?
When
The
it's
hottest
hot, isn't it?
days.
There's no sports.
Isn't it
Uh-oh, we lost Heather again.
Uh-oh.
Oh, she's back.
And we lost her again.
That's all right. A few of you said that it has to do with the hottest days of summer. There's no question about that. Those are some of the hottest days of summer. But do you know how they got the name the dog days? That's the question, which I think Heather was going to respond to.
The
Sleep under the house for shelter.
Yeah, I was going to say the dog doesn't want to stay in the house, wants to be outside.
No, that's actually not it, although that's a good guess.
The highest number of dogs birthed during that time.
Heather, did you have an explanation for why it was called the dog days?
Am I back?
Yes.
You are back.
Is it the
Oh, no. I feel so bad. So it has to do.
She's going to call Comcast. Give her a few minutes.
Constellation.
Yeah. This is exactly.
Yes.
So it has to do with the star called Sirius, which is almost always known as the dog star. And because we were pseudoscientific just a couple hundred years ago, people thought, oh no, this other star is working with the sun to make things twice as hot, even though there's a gajillion other stars in the sky, and we can make that judgment call whenever we want to. They were worried that Sirius, the dog star, was working with the sun. What are the halcyon days of early December? What are the halcyon days of early December?
A few days before the blizzard set in.
That is exactly correct. But do you know where that Greek word halcyon actually comes from? No. I'll give you a hint that might lead us there. The Greeks referred to a certain kind of bird as a halcyon. We call that bird something different. And I'm not exactly sure if we have these birds in Michigan now that I think about it. But it's an interesting bird that builds a nest in the water.
Not the dodo.
Not the dodo.
An egret?
Not an egret.
A loon.
Not a loon, although that's
Flamingo.
a good bird. What was that, Dave?
Flamingo?
Not flamingo.
Osprey? No, not osprey.
Not an ostrich.
Yes, in the water.
Yeah. It's the kingfisher bird. is what it's
Oh yeah.
And from the Greek myth, Halcyon, who was a person in the myth, was turned into the kingfisher bird that builds its nest upon the waves of the sea. Aeolus, god of wind, calmed the waves after the tumult of late autumn. We all know in Michigan that we have some pretty crazy weather right at the end of November. And the waves would be calmed in early December so that the bird could build its nest. And they became known as the Halcyon days. It says here, think about these because most people from the Great Lakes region know that because the weather freaks out a little bit in November, that we often refer to that crazy weather as what?
The day I pull out my snow shovel.
Lake effect?
We refer to it as the Witch of November.
Oh.
A little gendered language there, but it's in the song The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Edmund Fitzgerald is.
Gordon Lightfoot.
You know, it's kind of ironic that we got this question on a day when Professor Beth Oljar couldn't join us, but why do the first peoples of the Pacific Northwest tell people in the winter to beware the pogo nip? Pogonip. Why do the first peoples of the Pacific Northwest tell people in winter to beware the pogo nip?
Because it gets so cold, oh, no, I'm not going to go there. Not going to go there. Family show.
Family show. Has anybody ever heard of a pogo nip before?
No.
I've never heard of it.
No.
We're learning a new word today.
Oh.
So there is a phenomena, dear God, thank you for not occurring in the state of Michigan, where the fog will freeze and you breathe in the ice needles.
Ooh.
Wow.
And I would guess that the first peoples, with their pretty good knowledge of weather, but maybe not so good knowledge of science, were pretty freaked out by breathing in ice needles.
That would nip your pogo.
Yeah, that's exactly it. 100%, Dave. 100%.
Ooh.
Okay. So our last question for our show today is going to be a little bit of matching, and we'll see. It might get a little bit interesting here, but it'll still be fun. You know, the Native Americans in North America marked the passage of time by naming the 12 full moons of the year, realizing that a certain passage of time went by after 12 of those moons went by. Can you match the name of the moon to the Gregorian calendar month? So let me give you one that's kind of a giveaway. The September full moon is almost always referred to as the harvest moon or the corn moon. But all the moons have names in the Native American parlance. So I'll give them to you in a random order and see if you can guess what month it is.
I was hoping this would be like 12 Lords of Leaping. That way Jim Tubbs can nail all this stuff. That's all.
He's our master of Christmas carols. That's right. So which moon is called the flower moon?
May.
It's definitely May. Yep. So I'm going to give you the first one is done for you. So we've already got 2 out of 12.
Hooray.
Which one is the wolf moon?
November.
That sounds actually good. But you know, the November moon is named after another classic North American creature, Heather.
Bear moon?
The Kingfisher moon. Oh.
Gotta give partial credit for that. No, what would you say, Heather, is the unofficial animal mascot of the great country of Canada?
The whistle pig.
The moose.
It's not a moose.
The beaver moon.
Hockey stick.
November is the beaver moon.
The beaver moon.
The wolf moon is actually January.
Okay.
Which one do you think is the worm moon?
March.
It's March. Yeah.
Wow. Good
Man,
job.
but this is actually worse than like those weird anniversary gifts, you know.
One is the diamond moon. No, that's not real.
No, man, come on. Do you remember the one question that we got that one time? The third anniversary gift?
What was it?
Another anniversary?
I remember there's one where you're supposed to buy people clocks, and I just don't understand it.
Where's the Tupperware
You
anniversary?
don't need an occasion to buy a clock. Just go buy it.
Yeah, the Amazon moon.
How about the strawberry moon?
July.
August.
It's
No,
not-
June.
June or
June.
July. Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry, I got my
August
fruit
moon is actually
wrong.
named after a popular Great Lakes fish.
Trout,
Mm-mm.
Perch,
Walleye.
whitefish.
zebra mussel.
Not
Not a
invasive.
The
perch.
invasive carp.
No, the August. So again, to repeat, the strawberry moon is June. The August moon is a sturgeon moon. A sturgeon.
Oh, okay.
Sturgeon.
Oh, I would think that'd be a cold month. Huh.
Well, we're getting there when we get to
That's
August.
the caviar month, Jim. Caviar.
It seems obvious, but maybe based on the ones we've eliminated here, which moon is the snow moon?
December.
December.
It's not. It's not.
February.
In February.
February.
December is the also obviously named cold moon. All we have left is April and October, and I'm pretty sure we're going to be able to line them up fairly
Tax
well.
moon.
Which one?
A tax moon in April.
April is the pink moon because that has to do with coming out of little buds. And October, surprisingly, is the hunter's moon as people moved into hunting mode. from
That's
farm.
it.
Animals come out of hibernation.
There
Yeah.
you
I'm surprised we don't have a pumpkin moon.
No.
That's pumpkins grow a lot in the Midwest, but maybe not so much in the Southwest. So
I'm going to start a petition. October should now be called the Mayo moon.
Oh, thanks. Especially after my poor moon decoration got destroyed by the winds last year. Sad, so sad. So let's point at someone other than Dan. That's pretty obvious. It's the time has come in our show to talk about ATP favorites, and we need someone to come up with a favorite category. I was going to throw something out there to be funny, but realized it would be really depressing to say, hey, what's your favorite thing to do when all that's left on your calendar after school ends is to get ready for the next time school starts? But we're not going to talk about that right now.
Uh-uh.
How about the favorite new show you've done?
Okay. What was your answer, Stephen?
My answer to that?
Yes.
Oh, person of interest.
Oh, talk to me.
Does anyone know that show?
Mhm.
It's Christopher Nolan does it. He created it. It's a guy who invents a surveillance computer system for the government to track and discover and stop terrorists.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
Discovers that it collects evidence on everyone, even people who are not relevant to stopping terrorism. So he turns this into a thing to, it's almost like a Minority Report idea where they know they get a social security number of a person, and they don't know if that person is going to be the perpetrator or the victim of an upcoming crime. And he's got this ex-CIA guy who does the actual work, and it's interesting.
Very
Scary,
cool.
that kind of surveillance, a little dystopian, but interesting. And the guy who plays the ex-CIA guy, the muscle, is Jim. Who's the guy who played Jesus Christ in that movie?
Caviezel.
Ezekiel.
Yes, he's the guy that's in that. He does an interesting job.
I think you had me at Christopher Nolan. I'm kind of a big fan, so I might have to check.
Yeah.
Everybody here knows that I've been catching up on like all Star Trek, and I'm a little bit embarrassed to say that, but at least I'm entertained. And I've watched all the classic original series episodes with my kids, and they can jive on those episodes now. So all is well with the world.
All right, I'll admit it. Same thing with Star Trek, all the new stuff.
All right, good.
So right about now, it's like, because my wife and I, we ditched cable, but I think we're going to stay with the CBS Access, pay that $6 a month, and we'll watch all of them. And
We know you're actually watching the 40 seasons of Survivor, Dave. It's okay,
I've never ever understood that show. It's like, it's kind of like, let's vote off the most capable person. It's like, it doesn't make sense.
We
just
don't do it here on Ask the Professor. We don't do it things that way.
True. But I'm getting my geek on with Star Trek. I'm also following, the new stuff that's also being created too. I've got a friend of mine that's working on the second season of Picard, so I'm keeping tabs on that.
Wow, that's great. Very cool.
So they're still writing, they're still working, so it'll be interesting.
Kendra, after school is over, do you get a chance to watch entertaining things?
Well, sometimes we're working after school's over. It depends. Charles has a lot of work to catch up on. We are like in between shows. Like we finished all the shows of the old shows, and then we started watching Bosch, which is fairly entertaining, but like 12 steps too violent for me. In my old day, I can no longer handle violence. And then we started watching Alias, which is very like 2001, and it's a little bit hard to deal with that. It's also very Jennifer Garner.
Very.
But anyway, we don't really have anything. I watched Dateline last night. So
as long as you're not watching the news, you're doing just fine.
Cannot.
In moderation.
Including moderation.
Well, Richard, what is our West Coaster watching now with the coronavirus shutdown?
Good point.
What's funny is my wife really likes watching those home shows, the flipping shows and the remodel shows.
Yeah.
So we end up watching a lot of those. My vice that I need to get back to, and this will sound so corny, but I love watching the old Get Smart episodes with Don Adams. And I have the DVD set, so I need to start watching those.
Oh, my crush on Barbara Feldon. Oh.
We have another cat-based visitor here.
Yeah, he was interested. I'm sorry, I was distracted. When he wants attention, lately he comes into the room and starts eating the plants. It's like very much like a child. Like I tried to tell him that's negative attention and that he would probably enjoy more positive attention, but it's like he didn't even speak.
It's your chupacabra.
Well, when your kids start doing that, then you're in trouble.
Yeah, that's true. How about you, Dan?
Watched everything I've been interested in. Well, the latest thing. What was the question again? What did I discover anything good as far as series go?
Uh-oh.
Oh, Dan, you're fading out.
I understand.
But that's okay. It happens. Mara, what about you?
So this isn't a new show for me, but I'm currently obsessed with it since the new season came out. It's Insecure, and you can find it on HBO. It's about an early 30s woman and like her life, her career. It's cool.
Okay, very cool. We're missing Jim and Heather here. Someone's got to chime in.
Well, I enjoyed Hollywood.
I was just going to say that's what I've been watching.
I also watched the German one on Netflix, a series called Babylon Berlin. And it was set in Weimar, Germany. A policeman who had come from Dresden to Berlin, supposedly to help with a particular investigation, but he's got his own agenda. And you've got all of these groups that like the Berlin Mafia, but you've also got the rising National Socialist group. You've got the Stalinist communists who are an established party there, the Trotsky communists who are an established party there. So it's very interesting in terms of what was going on and what sort of led to the collapse of that and the rise of Hitler. Dark, though, very dark.
I just finished watching a series called Baptiste on PBS, I think. Yes. Did anybody else watch that about the older detective who is called in to help solve a large body of crime in Amsterdam? It's kind of hard to describe it, but it's intricate, and it was just 8 episodes. It was really
Very cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. Kind of violent, but also very complex.
I'm glad that not all of our answers ended with 12 times more violent than I would like. Although I do get the feel, Kendra, that things are a lot like that these days. People are craving action for some reason. I'm afraid we've reached the end of our episode for today, so the time has come to say goodbye. Mara,
See you next time.
Dan,
Goodbye.
Dave,
See ya.
Stephen,
Have a good weekend.
Kendra,
It was so good to be here.
Jim,
Sayonara.
Heather,
Everybody take care. Bye-bye.
and Richard.
Goodbye and have a good weekend.
And now these words from University of Detroit Mercy. Ask the Professor is transcribed at the facilities of our houses, but we're still out of the Department of Communication Studies in the College of Liberal Arts and Education at University of Detroit Mercy. Ask the Professor is produced and technically directed by Michael Jason and Brian Masonville, and our executive producer is Professor Jason Roach. Until next week, I'm your host, Matt Mayo.